Hi friends, this is Hannah from Handmade by Design, and I'm so glad that you're here. Today I'm going to be making a floral filly. My inspiration came from other floral horses that I saw online that were so pretty, but they were at least $100 and up. And I think that we can do a lot better than that. I purchased a wire head horse form on AliExpress for $5.17 and a 20 by 20 piece of boxwood that was $9.98, and it was free shipping on both items. I laid the wired horse head frame directly on top of the boxwood, and using nippers, I simply cut around the entire head of the horse. And this boxwood is really easy to cut through. I used nippers, but you could very easily use scissors. I cut the horse's neck about 4 or 5 inches longer than the wire frame because I just liked the added length to it and I thought it looked much better. I used green chenille sticks and went through the boxwood mat and through the wire frame and connected them at several points all over the back of the frame until I was sure that the boxwood mat was 100% secure on the wire horsehead frame. Once I was sure that everything was completely secure, I used nippers and I just went around the outside of the entire horse head and I cut all of the boxwood as close to the wire frame as possible because I wanted this horse head to have a very tailored look. This was such an easy project to make. I just took my time and I cut around all of the boxwood very carefully. And then at one point I cut the back ear off of the horse. And on the wire frame, I bent it and it just broke off very easily. And the reason that I did this is because I would like to put a halter on this horse, and it's not going to look right if the horse isn't in complete profile. So I just needed one ear to show on the horse. And I continued to trim the horse until I'm happy with the way that she looks. And even though it's thick and luxurious boxwood, there are a few areas where I cut off too much from the edges and a few areas that look a little sparse in the center. And I use the trimmings to fill in the horse completely. And this is how beautiful the horse looks when she has only one ear showing and she is completely trimmed. I used burlap and pink ribbon from Temu, but you can use any ribbon that you choose. I chose this ribbon because I loved the roses on the burlap. Using hot glue, I folded my ribbon into thirds so that it would be a better size for a halter and a lead rope. And I also didn't want any edges to fray or any edges to show. And I just placed the halter behind her ear and then in the middle of her nose, and I hot glued them at the base of her throat and left part of the ribbon hanging for the lead rope. I then got the ribbon and I went back and forth and made like a little accordion out of quite a bit of the ribbon, and this makes a flower out of the ribbon. You just keep going back and forth And once you have enough accordion, you place hot glue in the center, and then you pull it all out and it forms a flower. And as much as I love this flower, it was too large to use as a lead on the lead rope. So I put glue in between each of the folded pieces or each of the pleated pieces, and I begin to fold the flower in on itself all the way around the flower. And this forms a very uniform looking rose, and I liked it much better. As again, it was a more tailored look, and it was smaller, and it was a better size for a clasp for the lead rope. And then I glued a pretty button onto the rose and glued it onto the lead rope. All the florals that I used were from the Dollar Tree, and I used all pink, but your horse can be totally non-gender specific. It can be all green. I've seen them with all greenery where they're just gorgeous, blue, multicolored flowers. Make your horse any way that you want. Part of the reason that I used pink is that I found these beautiful long florals at the Dollar Tree, and I thought they would make such a gorgeous mane for this horse. So I added those all along the neck of the horse, and then I added some florals that were about 2/3 shorter, and then I added little pink berries on top of those. And I always dry fit my flowers before I add them permanently so that I don't have to undo what I've already done. With the longest part of the mane, it was so simple. I left the picks whole. I didn't cut anything off of them, and I simply wove them through the boxwood and the wire frame onto the back of the horse's neck. And this is a great way to be able to make a project. And if you think you're going to want to reuse those florals, they're not glued in, and you can take them out and reuse them on another project. I did have to glue some of the flowers, but I made sure that I glued them onto the boxwood rather than the florals that I used for this filly's mane. Beautiful. I am just thrilled with the way that she looks. I used 3 separate sets of flowers for the mane of the horse. The first one was, of course, the long mane, and then the second were pink florals that were about 1/3 the length of the long mane, and I used those shorter florals to make the filly's forelock. They were just right for that. I used the pink berries at the base of her mane, and I also glued one onto her clasp over the button. The long pink florals looked like the wind was blowing through her mane and gave this horse an extraordinarily beautiful look. I so enjoyed making this project for you, and I hope that it inspires you to make something beautiful. If you enjoyed the project, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. And until then, I will see you next time.